Massive winners, huge losers in Mists of Pandaria Classic. Class balancing, it's not at all what people expected. There are some massive overperformers, and one secret huge underperformer too. Meanwhile, the raiding, celestial dungeons, professions, tanking, world bosses, they have not gone according to script. Let's talk about the biggest winners and the biggest losers in Mists of Pandaria Classic. Starting off, we've got to talk about class balancing. Blizzard's meddling, it has led to some really surprise positives, and one massive downside too. I am curious before we start if you think Blizzard should intervene in some of the class balancing stuff. Let me know. Starting things off with monks, they are huge winners right now. Windwalkers with their massive AoE damage, very hot right now. Brewmasters, a top 2 tank anybody's happy to see. And Mistweavers, they're doing more damage than some entire DPS classes. Did Blizzard overbuff monks right before launch just to encourage everybody to play them? Well, Conspiracy Jerome kinda thinks so. Next up, if you were about to throw away all your characters just to play a monk, well, not so fast. We haven't talked about warriors yet. Arguably, warriors are the single most stackable class in Mists of Pandaria. The Skull Banner, the Rallying Cry, you just can't get enough of them. Prot warriors, meanwhile, are near the top of the meters right now. They're really making my Guardian Druid kind of feel like trash by comparison. Also, basically, warriors are just gods in battlegrounds and PvP too, always topping the kill meters right next to hunters, killing 4 people at once with Bladestorm, doing whatever they want. Then there is another winner, a class that has completely surprised me, and that is Shamans. Sure, Warcraft logs, it's not gonna say that Shamans are really the best DPS, but the ones I play with, let me tell you, they are topping the meters in the raid. Beyond their damage too, their insane OP Stormlash Totem, everybody wants as many of those as you can get. More Stormlash Totems means more damage for the raid, simple as that. An unexpected shaman loser though is the Resto Shamans. Previously, a lot of guilds, they were going to be going with 2 Resto Shamans, even more in their raids. Then right before launch, Blizzard was like, not so fast, we're giving them a huge healing rain nerf. Ultimately, Resto Shamans are doing very low raid damage compared to other healers, and they're just less appealing than other options right now. If you're talking about the most appealing class for raids, for PvP, it's gotta be Hunters. I'm routinely looking and slotting for 300s in my raids. The reason for that, you know they're gonna be outputting maximum damage no matter what the mechanics, no matter what's happening on, say, Spirit Kings. You know the Hunters are still going to be blasting. The big loser so far of MoP class balancing is the Warlocks though. They were expected to be right at the top of the meters next to the Hunters, destroying every fight. They're just not there right now though. They need gear to scale, and the slow rollout of the raids, it means that Warlocks are still several weeks away from their true BIS gear they need to really perform. It may actually be as late as Throne of Thunder before we really see Warlocks performing at their desired level. Now let's talk about MoP itself, the systems, the game, the good, the bad. What's a disaster right now? It's clear that one of the biggest winners in MoP is the tanks. They're extremely easy to play, literally easier than any DPS. I showed up for Moashin Vault, I had played Guardian Druid for maybe a total of an hour. I main tanked the raid in Contender Blue gear, and we actually cleared the raid no problem. The reason that tanks are such winners in MoP is first, you're just getting threat by breathing on mobs. That means you can basically completely focus on your defensive CDs, even if you're not perfect at your rotation. Second, you're absurdly tanky without really much effort. I basically never die in Celestial Dungeons. Meanwhile, on my Arms Warrior, I'm basically on the floor 24/7. Third, you just do more damage than everybody else. With the Vengeance, you're really just topping the meters. Even if you don't know exactly what you're doing, you're gonna look like a god. Another big loser is Professions. They were hyped up so big. Going into MoP, everybody was gonna have their 8 inscription alts, printing the Darkmoon decks, but not even a month into MoP and the crafted gear, it has really tanked in price. Darkmoon decks, they're dirt cheap. The 476 crafted gear is worthless because of Celestial Dungeons. The alchemy transmutes, they've cratered. Even the new 496 crafted gloves and chests, they cost me like 100,000 gold, and they only give me 1,000 DPS increase. Why would I actually buy those? The only really cool thing with Professions right now is being an enchanter and disenchanting purples from Celestial Dungeons for free money. But still, Professions got hyped up big time in MoP, and they really just haven't lived up to the hype. Another winner though, the lack of FOMO. See, Blizzard went in a really dangerous direction with MoP Classic, and they got rid of the fear of missing out. Your currencies, your valor, your bonus rolls, they're cumulative, which means even a fresh character is really never behind on anything. If I have a fresh character and I want to get fully caught up for arenas and be exactly the same gear as the best players, take me 4 hours of Conquest Cap, no problem. It is really the first time in WoW history that I don't feel behind at all, and that is a pretty cool feeling. Moving into a new topic here, we've got the raid winners and the raid losers, and we gotta start with Moashin Vaults. It's a real winner to me. You gotta admit, or at least I'm admitting, that Moashin Vaults is a really fun raid. Elagon alone, it's probably my favorite fight in the last several expansions. Now sure, you could just as easily say Moashin Vaults is a big loser, because while it's fun, it's about to take a huge backseat to the Heart of Fear, the Terrace, and really most of the loot is gonna be irrelevant. My only fear is that it doesn't start feeling like Molten Core, where you have to go back and Blackwing Lair's already out, and you're just going back to get your main tank as bindings. As much fun as I've had raiding though, the big downer has gotta be those world bosses. I love a fun open world event, maybe even a little PvP sometimes, as much as the next guy. But Blizzard's decision to remove a lot of the loot from those world bosses, it means I've killed the world bosses 6 times, and all I've gotten every single time is 0 loot and a little bit of gold. Killing world bosses week after week on multiple characters and getting absolutely nothing is just not an awesome feeling. But maybe it's just me. Have you maybe gotten a bunch of sick world boss loot? Could be that I'm the only one with the problem. So another big loser with raiding is class stacking. Outside of the hunters and outside of the warriors, there is really no reason that anybody would stack classes anymore. That is a pretty massive shift from the previous versions of WoW. Honestly, I'm still adjusting. As a guy trying to organize raids, I have to now consider factors like tier tokens, for example. I don't want to stack everybody on the Protector token, because that means when Heart of Fear comes out, then there's going to be a ton of people competing for the same items. I've never been like the biggest fan of class stacking from back in the day, but the fact that it's pretty much completely dead is at least a change worth mentioning. So these are the winners and the losers from MoP Classic so far. The massive winner, it's the monks, the warriors, the hunters. A huge loser, of course, with the lack of gear is those warlocks. Another huge winner, of course, the tanks putting in more damage with less effort than everybody else, while professions are a huge loser, far less profitable and lucrative than people could have expected. Then we have those debated world bosses and the raids too. Some people consider them a huge success, while others just can't wait to get out of there. What do you guys think is the biggest winner or the biggest loser in Mists of Pandaria so far? Hit me in the comments, and if this video got you thinking, hit that like button and subscribe for much more MoP content coming very soon. Thank you guys.